since you got money,
if we talking about
put your money where your mouth is.
So you talking about working
Run
out,
them stacks.
Put your money where your mouth is. All right, welcome to Rich House Reviews, man. This is not a podcast. This is just my commentary. Today we are talking about Jim Jones and Nas. All right, this conversation has been a debate over the last couple of days. I even did a video on the channel about it. Make sure you check that out. But now this has actually entered to Club Shay. Now, if you guys know about Shannon Sharpe, you know he got the podcast, and you know Jim Jones ended up on this podcast, and I just want to let y'all know it was a movie. This was the first time since he made that statement that somebody's actually challenged him and he had to defend it. Now, for the people that don't know, let me give you a little backstory. Jim Jones said that his catalog he has a better catalog than Nas. The only thing that I agree with him on what he said is that I think he is more relevant in 2025 than Nas is. But it's a factor. Nas has $100 million, Jim Jones doesn't. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. Have I listened to a bunch of Nas's albums? Yes. Has every Nas album been great? Not at all. There's a lot of albums from him that just flop because of the production. But overall, the question was better career. We found out that Nas has way more platinum albums than Jimmy. Jimmy never did a platinum album. And overall, better career to him. Now, Shay decided to defend Nas and bring him on the show. And when the conversation came up about Nas, this is how it went.
I can sing more Nas records than you right now. So you are capping. You are capping. That's what you're doing.
First of all, bro,
you are
I'm
capping.
about to be 50.
I'm a bigger Nas fan than you are. You are capping.
First of all, I'm 57. I don't be
now.
singing no rap. I don't be singing no rap.
You see what I'm saying, Ocho? He don't even know about rap. He just doing this for the views to get Jim Jones on there to get him hot.
Now, I think saying you're more influential than a person in 2025 is being taken out of context. I don't think like Jimmy saying he was a fan of Nas and he just felt that time has came. You know, he said he was a fan of him since Belly, bro. Belly came out years ago, so I get what he's saying. Do y'all feel like Nas's career has lasted the test of time? Even with these last couple of albums that he did with Hit Boy, he's lasted the test of time? I don't think so. I think Nas has kind of like been this artist that everybody knows is big, but nothing ever surpassed that. You know, his finances actually surpassed his music career. But yet and still, they kept having a conversation about this whole issue. And it started to get a little heated when Jimmy started to feel like, why is even Shay defending Nas? Once they would get into their debate, once they would go back and forth and things would get out of control, Shay would just start going right at Jimmy and letting them know this might be the biggest opportunity you ever been on.
Understand, but you don't
Get
know
him hot.
Nas. You don't know Nas.
You better check the podcast space. Now you better talk.
Sing 16.
Hey,
this
is the biggest podcast you ever been on.
Name one Nas record.
This is the biggest podcast you ever been on.
Do you know the podcast
you've been on better than this one?
Hold on. We off topic. Hold on.
This is what I do.
You name a podcast you've been on bigger than this one. When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to Club Shay. Jadakiss get invited to Club Shay. You not on that level yet, bro.
Now let me ask y'all a question, man. What is Shannon Sharpe gonna know about hip hop for real? Coming up from the South, not even growing up out in the East Coast or New York or the East Coast or nothing. What really would he know? And I think that's what Jimmy is trying to say. You know, I've never seen Shannon Sharpe around any artist that I listen to, like in the environment or supporting them or nothing. I do see him do his podcast, and you know, his podcast, technically, the biggest podcast he did was with the comedian. But his show is not for hip hop culture. It's a part of hip hop culture's media, but yeah. So I get Jimmy on that level, but Jimmy got to stop signing up for debates and then trying to smooth the goalposts.
Don't play with me, bro. Chill out.
Off topic.
You're dealing with the wrong one, bro.
Right here, bro.
I don't care nothing about nothing that you got to say, bro. You might as well take me off this shit, bro.
We here. You can't out
Leave
talk
me alone, bro.
You might can out rap me, but you can't out talk me.
Don't nobody want to go to Club Shay. Nobody want to buy no VIP tickets to that shit. Nobody rushing to go to that shit.
Biggest podcast you ever been on.
You know what I'm saying? You can't bring this conversation up, put out certain facts, people call you out, and then switch it to the fact of, yo, but who you, Shay? Because it's not about who Shay is. The question is, are you better than Nas? Now, I will feel like Shay definitely overstepped his boundaries. I will feel like Shay did a little bit of meat rotting and just following the trend. And I gotta thank for Jimmy for actually checking him on that, because, you know, I don't think Shay is in that position to be trying to put artists up against each other. It's not, you know, he could add his opinion, but to put artists against each other, or
Shay,
hey,
you do got a good podcast.
You get an invite.
You do got a good podcast. Listening to me? The podcast is tremendous. You and Ocho do your thing, but don't get it twisted, bro. I don't care nothing about no fucking podcast, bro.
We supposed to be talking about music and love and embracing one another and culture and having fun.
We ain't gonna let it come out here and disrespect Nas and Jada. That ain't gonna happen on here. Now, where were we?
Why you keep putting Jada into this? Why you keep putting Jada into this? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you, bro?
Now, I feel like until a rapper goes on Shay and does the type of numbers that he did with the Cat Williams, then he's right. It's partial media, but it's not really geared towards hip hop media. I really don't know what artists went on there and got like very big views. But I think that, you know, Shannon Sharpe also makes a good point. You can't out-talk a podcaster.
Opportunity.
You gotta start buying baggy your clothes, big fella. You too big, man.
You talk about you in the gym. Now you want to get me? You want me to see me in the gym?
Oh, we could do
Since
that.
You like to talk that ish. Now come see me in the gym.
We talking about working out. What we talking about? Working out or strength? What we talking about? Working out or strength?
Work however you want to do it.
We talking about
since you got money.
And we talking about
put your money where your mouth feels.
So you talking about working out? I burn you. You talking about working out? I burn you.
At this part of the interview, it just got weird, and I decided to just cut off my whole commentary and leave y'all with my final piece. I feel like both of these guys could humble each other, humble themselves. I think they both have had very good accolades. I wish that this culture was more accepting of everybody, because if it was more accepting, you know, Shay wouldn't feel like, I think he should bring Jim Jones on there and they should have a conversation. And vice versa, I think they should show each other love. They both older guys and still doing what they do, and I feel like we need to encourage more and stop trying to like bring everybody down in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they both doing what they doing, and if they could, you know, if they had one little conversation on Nightcap and it went like this, imagine what they could do with an interview. Now, do y'all think Jim Jones has earned the right to have an interview on Shay? Do you feel like he's at that point or not? That's really a question I want y'all to answer. Do you feel like he's earned that slot? I think he has been earned that slot. Make sure y'all definitely subscribe. Make sure y'all hit the top bell. Let me know what y'all feel about this, and I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out of here.